Thanks, Chrissy, and thank you all for coming along this afternoon to hear our presentation. I've kept the title from last year, as just like the Carpenters sang, we've only just begun. I assume that many of you are here as investors looking for companies that are exposed to or preferably creating events that can move a stock price a lot and make you serious money. My premise today, and hopefully you'll believe it by the end, is that Sacgasco, ASX-listed ticker SGC, is your target company. Sacgasco is an exploration company using its production assets as a facilitator to add value by accessing reserves and production. In the next few minutes, I'll run through a review of Dempsey drilling, look at the exciting prospect called Anzus that has emerged as a front runner from the Dempsey results, and review the upcoming Alvarez-1 re-entry and test project. The working interest in all these projects is listed in an attachment to this presentation, which is now available through the ASX and our Sacgasco website. The Sacramento Basin is a no-brainer, or reading the title there, Natural Gas Hunting Ground, as a natural gas hunting ground. Where better to find gas than where it's already been produced in abundance for some 80 years. Sacgasco over the last 12 months has demonstrated it has the team to uncover the overlooked potential of the underexplored parts of the Sacramento Basin. And might I say that our performance in drilling Dempsey has stood us in good stead. You know, like Tino was saying, performance leads to other opportunities. Stood us in good stead for partnerships and working with others and teaming up with others in the northern Sacramento Basin. In the Sacgasco has flowed and sold gas from rock layers that have never flowed before in the basin. And in doing so, has only just begun to uncover the secrets of this prolific gas area. In the last few months, we've uncovered over 100 significant exploration and appraisal opportunities, or anomalies, on just parts of the Dempsey Trend alone. This number and this fact is consistent, in my view, with the statements of the biggest company in California, California Resources Corporation, who list in their annual reports for the Sacramento Basin alone that they've uncovered 2,400 or more conventional gas drilling locations just in the Sacramento Basin. And our focus right now, as you can see on the slide there, is just in the northern part primarily. We do have production throughout the basin. Not all of these opportunities are going to be economic right now, but they can be high-graded very easily to drill the best first, and as gas prices improve, the drilling will be justified on many others. To give you a better idea of our opportunities and the area of primary interest or initial focus for Sacgasco, it is very similar in geological style and size to the prolific fold belt in New Guinea that has created lots of value for oil search shareholders and others. This area here is a outline of the area we're most interested in, the Sacramento Basin, and that's overlaid on the fold belt in New Guinea. And so you can see that it's a massive area that we're exploring and lots of opportunities. On top of that, exploration in Sacgasco's focus area is at a similar stage to where PNG was when I was up there exploring in the 70s. The cost of doing business is just a fraction of that in New Guinea because of easy access and extensive infrastructure, and an adjacent massive undersupplied natural gas market to boot. This is just a reminder of that market. California imports 90% of the gas it consumes. What it consumes is greater than what Australia as a whole consumes, and it pays a premium price for that, roughly US $3.10 today for gas in our area. Most of our projects are connected to or adjacent to infrastructure that make market access and realisation of gas resources easier than in most parts of the world. In drilling Dempsey, we pretty much did as we said we would. We intersected lots of gas in lots of intervals. We flowed gas from multiple test levels, albeit at rates that we had hoped to exceed by multiples. We've proved the structural trap, the seals, and the presence of extensive, over 5,000 feet of gas-saturated rocks in the underexplored part of the structure. The missing component, or key takeaway, is that we need to find better reservoirs that provide higher flow rates. By calibrating the seismic with the well information and refining our reservoir model to focus on better developed sands with higher porosity and permeability, we believe now that we can do better. To find better reservoirs, we've used the results from testing and flowing gas to sales from 5 zones in the Dempsey well. We've calibrated the reservoir zones in the well to the seismic and mapped multiple seismic markers and interpreted them to see where we should go to expect better reservoirs. We've refined our interpretation of the depositional model and uncovered in the seismic very significant channel features that exhibit amplitude characteristics that provide compelling support for sand-filled natural gas traps down dip on the Dempsey structure. Some of these are down here in the purpley blue colour. And this is a representation of how that channel, one of those channels comes out of the seismic when it's mapped with some amplitude overprint on it as well. And just for comparison, these are not dissimilar to those that are creating lots of excitement and have proven up to trap many millions and tens and hundreds of millions of barrels of oil and gas equivalent in offshore West Africa. This is very exciting for the prospectivity of the Sacramento Basin. There was not seen any well that has previously tested these channel features in the underexplored parts of the basin. Some of these better reservoir targets are located under shallower targets for exploration, which will result in better chance of success from drilling. This is another advantage of drilling in a basin which has multiple stacked reservoir zones. The Anzus prospect is emerging as the best place to test the better reservoir model. The prospect has multiple seismic anomalies interpreted as prospectivity. These are stacked above each other, as can be seen in the top right-hand diagram here, and where the outlines of anomalous areas are superimposed on each other. So the brightest pink areas have the most anomalies and are the best place to test the prospect. I've also included on the bottom here an example of where the seismic anomalies are consistent with structure, a positive indicator for trapped gas. I've illustrated 2 alternative drilling locations, if we drill vertical wells, on the cross-section. Read the summary of Anzus at your leisure, but just now take a look at the seismic on the side. This representative, uninterpreted seismic extract implies multiple stacked potential gas reservoirs. Focus on the yellow zone as those areas that are of most interest to us. This is one of the most anomalous pieces of seismic I've seen in the Sacramento Basin to date. Sacgasco's next field activity is at the Alvarez project. We plan to re-enter and test a well drilled for oil, but which flowed gas. We'll test the integrity of the casing, and if it's all good for the anticipated high pressures, we'll perforate and test the best zone of conventional sandstone reservoir potential, and also test one of the fault fractures zones which had high gas shows while being drilled. This is, to our knowledge, a new play that has not been tested before in the basin. Success will result in more extensive testing. Alvarez is already a gas discovery. It's flowed pipeline quality gas to the surface. There is core analysis that indicates reservoir quality, porosity and permeability. This image shows that the seismic extract across the gas discovery and, so this up here, and previously released engineering analysis that estimates the flow potential of between 4 to 10 million cubic feet of gas per day based on more conservative inputs than that seen in the core. The testing will assess the commercial potential of the structure with consistent seismic amplitude anomalies that cover more than 6,000 acres. I need to add that there are examples of old well bores being safely re-entered and retested after more than 40 years in our area of the Sacramento Basin. So what we're planning at Alvarez is not unique and much less costly than a redrill. This cross-section illustrates that the zone of gas to be tested at Alvarez, down here, is different from that tested recently at Tuliano or that we flowed gas from at Dempsey. It's similar to where gas was flowed from the James well in 1947-48. These seismic displays have been balanced to enable a direct comparison of the amplitudes as a simplified proxy for chance of finding better reservoirs. And these are the same as you've seen previously on each of the prospect summaries that I've shown, and you can have a closer look on the published versions. Focusing on the yellow bits, a highly technical term, as indicators of gas-filled reservoirs, I think these seismic displays, calibrated with Dempsey and Alvarez results, show that we have, I think, Alvarez is better than Dempsey, and why we're excited about the ANZUS feature. This slide summarises the assets of the company and illustrates how far we've come in 12 months. Production, underpinning, exploration prospectivity and upcoming activity are the key takeaways for you as investors. Keep an eye on us in relation to acquisition news as well. I've been in the international oil and gas and resources business for over 45 years and have been associated with big gas discoveries and developments worldwide, and still believe that the opportunity Sacgasco has uncovered in the northern Sacramento Basin is world-class and probably the best I've seen in an onshore location, particularly given the massive local California gas market and associated infrastructure. Before summing up, let's pause for a moment to look at the SGC value equation in a simple way. Sacgasco has a market cap of less than 8 million Aussie. Produced natural gas conservatively is valued at an NPV of $1 an MCF. So Sacgasco's market cap is equivalent to 8 million MCF, or 8 BCF of gas. Sacgasco is exploring and producing in a basin that has produced over 11 million BCF, 11 TCF of gas over some 70 years. This basin is recognised as underexplored and is also recognised by Sacgasco and others as having world-class multi-TCF potential. We'd have to be terribly wrong, technically, and horribly unlucky to not be able to find and produce multiples of 8 BCF of gas from activity on our extensive leases and well interests. In conclusion, in the last few minutes, I've run through a review of what we now know, what we plan to do in the next few months, and particularly what we see as significant value for shareholders in our Dempsey, in the exciting ANZUS prospect, and the upcoming Alvarez well re-entry and test project, all complemented by our ongoing natural gas production. On top of our activities, I believe personally that we're going to see an era of significantly higher oil and gas prices in the shorter rather than longer term, which would provide additional fuel for additional growth. So, because as Apple founder Steve Jobs says, those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world usually do. There's too much opportunity right now in California to approach it any other way. These words sum up Sacgasco succinctly. Thank you. Don't forget to go place your orders for Sacgasco at these 12-month low prices. Thank you.